From a little cover, I got my dreams in sight. Wrestling on the mat, I go and put up a fight. With every hold and slam, I rise to the peak. Now as Professor Bear, it's my strength that they see. Roaring with knowledge like a lion so proud. In this wrestling world, I'm standing out loud. I'm Professor Bear, got the passion to spare. Wrestling's my life, with the power to share. From the roof to ropes, in the spotlight we gleam. Chasing victory dreams, living out the theme. Now my WOSN, my squad.
Yeah. Hey, new beginnings on the cusp. Not too old to adjust. Old dog, new tricks. Remember, I was just a pup. Something dirty in my cup. Clean soul.
With my boys crew, we'll always ride. In the wrestling world, one just claim the prize.
Welcome, and thank you for joining me this evening. I am Professor Bear, and this is A Bear's Thought. Guys, girls, I am so happy to continue doing this. I haven't lied and I won't lie. It's been a struggle to keep going as positive and strong as I am. But I tell you what, every time I think it can't get any better, I have a great conversation with a promoter, booker, and they just give me so much energy. And to be able to learn about the sport that we love, learning new aspects of it is so amazing. And plus, as wrestling fans, we don't think about what everything a booker goes through, the owner goes through to make our life, to give us that entertainment so we can forget about our world for 2-3 hours. So this is why I wanted to do this and to spotlight the promotions that may not get that representation because of they're a smaller promotion or not. Just because you're small, as a quote that I used to use all the time, just because you're small does not mean you're not entertaining. So with that said, I want to introduce my guest, a face that you should remember. He's been on before. We got Simply Rick and we have Michael. They are from Doomsday Pro-Wrestling. Guys, how are y'all doing tonight?
Doing all right. Doing all right.
So cool. So cool.
Doing great.
So before we dive into it, I want the guys and girls to check out the logo. Reason why I love making sure the logo is there, because when you go looking to find more information on the promotion we're talking about, as big as the world is, wrestling names can be so similar, or hell, even the exact same. So we want you to know exactly when you're looking, you got the right promotion. Plus, if you're anything like Professor, if somebody's going to give it to you easy and make life simpler, you're going to take advantage of it. So that's why I put up the QR codes. Now, for us older people, we may not use the QR codes, but for you youngsters, I'm doing this for you. So don't say the professor never done anything for you. it takes you directly to their their Facebook page. So you get to learn about them and follow them and become a part of their audience. Now, with that being said, gentlemen, I always start out with this question. How did y'all become wrestling fans?
You want to take this one first? Or you want me to take it? You can go first.
You can go first. I got about a 7-second lag for some reason right now.
Okay. I became a wrestling fan because I just kept hearing everybody talk about this thing and all of these different wrestlers, and you'd always hear about it. And then one day I decided to watch it. It was around the time of Ric Flair's retirement match against Shawn Michaels that I started watching. And I watched that, and I watched his speech, and I saw that real emotion that like was just there. And I was just like, man, I want to make somebody feel like that. I want to be able to go out there and have an entertaining moment that made me feel like that. To me, that's what it's about. It's about that emotion.
I definitely agree with you. And I tell anybody, they're all wrestling's fake. How can you blah, blah, this, that, and the other? I tell them the one thing that is not fake is the emotions that the wrestlers put into it. It most times it's something that you've gone through or you know about. It touches you. So how can that be fake? It's not fake. That people show real emotion, and we gravitate to that. So, Rick,
You do what you know, if you will. Like if you know something, you gravitate towards that, and if it's something you've been through, you kind of put that out there through art.
exactly. Rick, won't you tell the fans one more time of how you became a fan?
Pretty much the last time I was on here. Can you guys hear me? I am having technical difficulty on mine.
No, we can hear you fine.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, I got some kind of lag going. But anyway, I become a wrestling fan, like I stated on the previous episode, with my grandfathers, mainly the older people. They sat and they watched wrestling. My grandfather's uncle actually was a pro wrestler, Caveman Bill Edwards. So my grandpa watched wrestling religiously. It's in the bloodline, and I'm not here by no accident. Like not many people know that fun fact about Simply Rick, and that's how I really started watching wrestling was with my grandfather because his uncle was a professional wrestler, which is my great uncle, Caveman Bill Edwards, and I've always was drawn to this sport, and plus, like I stated the last time, when you're a kid and you're always bouncy and full of energy and you're jumping off of stuff, you're getting in trouble, and these guys can dive around and flip around and nobody's yelling at them. They're allowed to jump. So I loved it.
Definitely. Again, it is such a it captures emotions, and like you said, when you're young and you see these guys bigger than life, it's like watching a real life superhero do things and you want to get the chance to see them and do the same thing. So it's definitely I definitely understand that. So now, how did we translate from just being a fan to getting into the wrestling business?
For me, it was by pure luck. You always hear the story of somebody that knows somebody. And in my case, I just happened to start a job and see somebody talking about wrestling, and I go up and I'm trying to talk to them about like what I know on TV, and they're just like, no, that's not what I do. You learn about that, and he's just like, if you're serious, I can get you into this. And I was just like, of course, I want to give this a shot. And a couple of years later, I get the opportunity to do that, and you keep going with it and keep growing. And find out what you want to do with it. And I did a lot of managing. I've refereed and finally settled into a more of a booking role, which is where I'm at now. And it all kind of happened as a fluke, to what a one-off. I could have been anywhere else on a different day, and I wouldn't be sitting here.
I definitely understand that. Rick, tell your story again of how you got into it.
About like the last episode, it was very rough. I was just answering flyers. I was coming out of high school, and I didn't want to. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to follow wrestling, so I just started calling people up promotions, and I got told no a lot. And then I found one guy by the name of Darryl Fugit, aka Showtime Sean Christopher. Hi, Sean. He believed in me when nobody else would, and from there the doors opened. I met PWI photographer Bill Needham at a charity event in Tennessee. Sean Christopher is very instrumental in helping this little guy become the Simply Rick as you know of today.
So I love hearing your story because you wouldn't take no for an answer. You was out to prove that you belong in the wrestling business, and you showed all those naysayers wrong, and you've lived your dream. You've done so much in the business, and I think what I really appreciate about you is you're willing to pass it on. You're giving people a chance to grow just like you had the chance.
Yes, and I think that's very important for us vets. We got tunnel vision sometimes. Like, you work in a regular shoot job, you're there for a while, you get tunnel vision. Then you got fresh eyes coming in, seeing stuff different. And sometimes it'll mess with a veteran's head. But if you step back and look at it from a fresh point of view, like some of it makes sense. And we got to work with them. And the younger guys got to understand, though, us vets has been around a while. We know how certain things work just from past mistakes. So, we all need to learn how to meet in the middle and work together. And I think that's what makes Doomsday Pro-Wrestling so special. We got a mix of the young, the vets, and everything in between, and we all listen to each other. And we're like, hey, this is what we need to do
to get on the right page. And I hate to cut you off, but I always compare what we do or what we want to do with Doomsday to the vision of ECW, the original ECW, that punk rock, beat to your own drum, be different. We want you to be different. We want you as a fan to come in, and maybe you're not cheering the guy we want you to, or somebody like that. Be that unique person, because Doomsday is special because that's what it's about. It's about being unique. It's about being told no, like Rick was and like I was. Me and Rick are a lot similar in the fact that we might be two of the kindest people you'll meet, but we run on spot. We run on these negative experiences, these people being told no, this need to prove people wrong. And that's kind of what Doomsday is. Doomsday is counterculture.
And it's amazing that you say that. With being counterculture, when do you know, okay, we're doing this because this, but as much as possibly we want to be different, we have to run this line. And I think that for me, that's that hard. How do you know when to go different and when to be the same?
I think there should be something on a show for everyone.
Yeah, we're pretty much anything but the same. If you follow Doomsday history, like I think, like Michael Ramone said, it gives that old ECW type feel because we attract the broken, the lost, the misunderstood, the people that somebody won't give a chance to with a performer's heart. And if we see the desire and the drive, we want to see them succeed in an industry that people don't want you to succeed. They want to look good. They're scared you're going to take their spot.
And and I love that because, like Michael said, everybody deserves a chance. Everybody deserves to be in the realm that makes them comfortable. Not as I tell people, when you hear the term wrestling, it's just a general term. It doesn't mean there's so many different styles of wrestling, different ways of art form, that you have to take the time to see what you like and what you prefer, and you might have to do some research, but it's out there.
There's a type of wrestling for everyone.
Exactly. You just have to put in the energy to figure out what is your niche and what you like. So
that's a good way to put it.
So tell me more about how y'all are different. I know y'all said ECW style, but I'm and I think my audience is going to be as curious as I am. Is it always hardcore matches, or what? Again, could y'all explain that to us?
I think people misunderstand whenever somebody says ECW, because you say ECW and you get the wrong idea. You get hardcore, but people forget that Chris Jericho and Rey Mysterio Jr., Dean Malenko, guys like that were also there. Psychosis and Ray Jr. have one of my favorite matches from ECW. Like, ECW was everything. It was a punch bowl, it had it all. But I think that, you do have the people that do crave that violence that was there in the 90s, especially now. That was a time that, a rebellion was going on. We're kind of rebellious now. I think that it's now needed more than ever. So, we got the ladder match, and you were just talking about how I think that everybody should be on the same page. And I think this is a good time to circle back to an announcement that I was going to make actually right before I came on here. And I talked to some people. I talked to a few vets about it, and I went to the ladies in the match, and I told them, I said, I preach about equality in the locker room and giving you guys an opportunity. And I said, and I'm out here talking about how these men are going to be in this ladder match and in the main event, and that didn't feel fair to me. So I went to Stevie Ash and I went to Mercy, and I said, hey guys, how do you want to make history for Doomsday? And they both agreed. So we are opening Battle Scars on March 28th in Jeffersonville, Indiana, with Stevie Ash versus Mercy for the Doomsday Pro-Wrestling Women's Championship, and that will also be a ladder match. We will be having an opening ladder match and a closing ladder match on that night.
That's amazing. I love hearing that.
All right, now
I believe in friendly competition. The roster should push each other to be better.
Oh yeah.
And I agreed with Michael Ramone, since the ladder match was happening anyway. I agreed with it. That was a bold move. But my thing is about, the ECW. Like, before Michael came in the room, we was privately talking about my hardcore championship wrestling.
Yes.
And in them days, like the first 4 years of my career was pretty brutal. Scaffold matches, barbed wire matches, you name it, car hoods. We even brought in the kitchen sink. So, you name it, we used that weapon almost. Right. Almost everything. Broken glass, thumbtacks, fire, whatever. But people got numb off of it because we was doing it every match, every show. But you got to build a story to your big events. I feel like this is a good way to kick off our season, but we're not only trying to have that ECW feel, we're trying to have that old school classic feel, like Michael Ramone was saying, something for everybody. And when you build a story to, say, like a street fight, you got a couple of guys going a few shows back and forth, and it's just boiling over and hey, let's just do a street fight, no rules, and that's the only way we can settle it. And then it means something.
It
That's
does.
what yeah, go ahead.
I think that that's kind of why Doomsday's a little bit more lax with refereeing rules, so you don't have to have those hardcore matches as often, because sometimes a match is going to spill to the outside. You don't want to see that match end in a count out. That's not what anybody wants to see. So sometimes we do have the moments where they're spilling on the outside, they come right back in. But Rick is correct. You don't always need those weapons and stuff to get that ECW vibe. Sometimes you need that Rey Mysterio and Psychosis. Sometimes you need the more goofy stuff. It's all over the place. Like I chose the name Michael Ramone from the Ramones, from punk rock culture, and it's kind of the driving force behind all of it that I'm going back to is be different. And like he was saying there, everybody kept doing the same thing then. And this was kind of a big way to, it's a benefit show. It's the start of the season. We have so much. But we are more than those ladder matches. Like, look at that card. Like, if you look at that card, those ladder matches are only a minuscule part of that card. I'm personally looking forward to Fiji Wildman, who is a Doomsday original, coming back to face Doomswitch Aaron Gray. That match I'm really looking forward to. Those are two hosses that are going to go in there and do battle. I've been getting a kick. Rick, I don't know if you've seen this. Have you seen this hot zone that's been going on over the Doomsday Facebook?
A little bit. I've been catching a little bit of it. I'm catching back up to speed. My personal life's been a little.
Yeah. It's hilarious. And these guys, they reached out to me. They've got one that they're bringing in to represent for the night, the ladies' man, and then like they got the Tragedy Boys on the night, being like that they're managing. So that's going to be really fun. These guys are really silly. It feels like they just watched Jersey Shore like 2 weeks ago and thought that nobody had done the gimmick before, and it's really funny. So I think that fans that are fans of comedy have something, fans of hardcore have something, fans of technical have something, fans of hoss fights have something. You have it all. It's Doomsday is a soup.
So Fiji the Wild Man, I actually got a chance to see him wrestle in person, and I'm just to let y'all know, I'm 6'4", 300 pounds. I'm a big boy. And I was sitting there looking at him, and I thought to myself, well, hell, if he come up here and hits me, I might as well just go ahead and just swing for everything for the fences, because he looked like he ain't going to stop until you gone.
He's one of my favorites. And like Michael Ramone said, he is a Doomsday original, and I'm very happy to see him coming back.
And a part of that, Psycho Chris Noble wanted to be a part of this event. Friend of Rick, you've been in a stablemate. He wanted to be a part of it. He's not ready to come back to the ring yet. I'm still hopeful. I know he's still staying retired, but I'm still hopeful that we see him one day. But he's going to be the special guest referee there. So if anybody is going to be able to take care of two big monsters like that, it's going to be Psycho Chris Noble as that referee.
That's cool. I saw this. Definitely had to get this up. Mama G, respect Simply Rick, follower for life. Love your podcast, Brad. Thank you so much for that. And from what y'all are telling me about your show, it puts me in the mind of not the hardcore ECW, but the original before it came extreme, when Kevin Sullivan was there, when Terry Funk, when no one, they were just a little promotion that used to go by was it Tri-Cities Championship Wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
That's the style. And honestly, I think they were more extreme then than what they went to, because like you said, it was a melting pot of different wrestling. You had so many traditional wrestlers. You had the wrestlers that could go into hardcore spots. Just, it was everything you wanted in professional wrestling. You could bring any type of fan with you, and they would find something in that show to love.
You know, I'll say this. What other promotion are you going to see that would put somebody like Jimmy Lamb, great competitor, but just came off of a match that ended in referee stoppage because of a pile driver, in a ladder match because he's asked to do it? Jimmy came to me. He said, I'm winding down. I want to be a part of this match. That's why it was a ladder match, because Jimmy asked for that personally because he had that match with Rick that was supposed to be his end. And going into this ladder match, you know, I just, where are you going to see a Jimmy Lamb in a ladder match in 2026, or a Rick Gunner in a ladder match in 2026? That's what makes us special. Like, yeah, it's a ladder match, yeah, it's hardcore, but it's who's in it. Think about, like, you know, think about those puzzle pieces. Sometimes I think is one of the cool parts about Doomsday is, like, you're seeing combinations that you're not going to see anywhere else, because most people would look at the combination and question your sanity.
And just a quick history lesson on Jimmy Lamb. He's got people like working the Moondogs and stuff under his belt. He's very young.
Jimmy Lamb's a wrestling god. Jimmy Lamb, he is one of the best, and that's why as soon as he messaged, and you know, Rick's, this is like, we got Showtime coming up, we got Rick, we have all these old school people, and then, like, you know, on the show we have your Nick Depps and your Kellen Cravens, and I just mentioned Aaron Gray. Like, there's such a melding of the old school and the new school, and it's such a clash of styles. And while and I like to think of us all as like a family, and people forget that, like, yeah, families fight, but it's all for the same goal. And our goal is all to do what I said earlier, to entertain that audience, to be that 2 hours where while we're out there, you don't think of anything. I want to be that to somebody. I want to be the comfort to somebody now that wrestling was to me then.
It's an amazing thing what wrestling can do, and especially indie wrestling. And I think more of today, indie wrestling has gotten to a point that it feels like old territory wrestling again, but better, because I can sit here in Tennessee and watch your product easily, and that makes it feel good. It's like, wow, I like this. I can follow them. I can do things. Or if I like, wrestling in California, I can do that too.
Geez, my phone fell over and kicks me out of the call.
No problem. And I love that you have it seems like the territory system again, but you can follow it. What style you like, you can follow it. You can, if you're a big British wrestling fan, you can be in the US and follow British. We have so many outlets now for wrestling, and there's no excuse anywhere. Hell, like, we're gonna have our app back up by next month, and we're gonna have different promotions on there, so you can follow and get to learn and do so much with wrestling nowadays. I think it's in a great place, and I love that the indies show that WWE, AEW, all the big names are not the only place. You can get great quality wrestling in smaller promotions and just love it.
For sure.
So I want to ask you all about y'all titles. What titles do you have, and what makes them so good?
The titles are in such a flux right now because of so many, like, changes that the company's had to go through. Like, we have had growing pains and sabotages. Anything that could have happened to the company has happened to us. Currently, our only active champions are the men and women's champion, the dimensional champion. For the men's, we're still brainstorming names for like the name of the women's title. It might just be women's dimensional title. But that also felt different. Everybody always out there, universe, world. We're in our own dimension. We're in our own plane. We're different. So that's kind of where that came from. And we're looking to bring a tag team titles in. But right now, to me, it's more important to establish those two first titles and make sure that they get a good base after everything that they've been through, to establish those back before we bring in maybe a secondary title or tag titles. Which unfortunately, I love tag team wrestling. I've pitched a show for Doomsday for years that was completely tag team wrestling. So I hate to say that we have big tag team matches on the show. So it's not that we don't want tag titles. It's just the two main titles need a base right now, and I think that it's time to focus on them for a few months until they are stable, and then we can worry about other titles.
I like that. That makes so much sense, because a lot of times I feel like some companies just throw titles out there, and it's like every other week we got a new title, and it's like, well, hell, you barely defend the one you have. How are you going to? So it makes sense, and this is something I say. Two things I always say. One of the things that irked the hell out of me as a wrestling fan is when a company calls their title the world title. I'm like, you don't go anywhere. You never even look. Not even going to talk about around the world. Hell, you ain't even been out your state. You barely go out the county.
That's why I think the dimensional works, because anywhere that we go becomes its own pocket. It's that chaos and that energy that we bring right there. Be it in Jeffersonville, Rocky Top, over at Booze Roadhouse. Don't matter where we go. It's a pocket of our own dimension, our own chaos that's right there. So world don't feel right, because we're not necessarily a part of the world.
Yeah, we're definitely in our own little world.
Yeah.
And see, I love that. And again, as a wrestling fan, we all will just put our beliefs behind us, and it's like, okay, I'm not going to put too much energy into that. But with that being said, don't treat us stupid either.
Exactly.
I hate when people promoters do that. It's like, well, hell, they don't care. Yes, we do. We care a lot more than you recognize. Don't do that.
Right.
So with that, when is your next show?
It is March 28th, Saturday. It is in Jeffersonville, Indiana, 1416 Spring Street, Jeffersonville, Indiana.
Even though I said that was in Kentucky earlier on my promo, and I had to correct it.
You were heated up. That promo. Go back and watch it. Go back and watch it, fans. Go back and watch the last one. Go back and watch the one right before that from the champion.
Oh, definitely.
We have something going special. Go watch Nick Depp's. I'm sure that we'll be hearing from Jimmy Lamb soon.
Yes.
We've got a lot going on. Unfortunately, I have to bail out in a couple minutes. So if you want to give me one more question.
Yes. How do you feel being next to Rick, gathering the knowledge that he gives you about the wrestling business?
This is going to be the weirdest analogy that you're probably ever going to hear. But whenever somebody has to take over, for Kermit the Frog or something, they shadow the person that's doing the puppetry and the voice for years and years and years. And I felt like I was doing that from the moment that I met Chris and Rick. This was always where I was supposed to end up. I just didn't know the path at the time, but I've been studying this for years, and I'm still learning. We never stop learning. So I feel like one of the guys that's shadowing Kermit the Frog to take over and be special for a new generation.
You said that was a weird analogy. I think that was a great analogy, because if anyone, that's just like getting a new job. You got to shadow the person who's there to learn how to do it correctly and to ask questions and gather that knowledge. So when you get that chance to be on your own, and when you get that chance to pass on the knowledge to whoever you see fit to, you know you're giving them quality. You know that it's coming from an old school mentality, and you're trying to keep the magic alive. So that
Exactly.
was a perfect analogy.
Yeah, when you put it like that, I think so. So I'm gonna leave you guys with this, and it's more of a message to the fans. I hope you can come out and see us uh, March 28th, Jeffersonville, Indiana. Our whole team, and it is a team, have worked so hard on it and to put stuff into it and to make it special and to make everybody forget a little bit of their daily life. So we hope you can come out, and it's for a good cause. So just remember out there, you have a place in this world. You are worth it. And we'll see you soon.
Thank you for joining us, Rick. I mean, excuse me, I said Rick. Michael.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I'm still here.
Yes.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
See, not done yet. I still
No.
got a few left in me.
The question I'm going to ask you is, how do you feel when you're getting to teach Michael the insides of the business and trying to mold him the way you were molded when you got into the business?
Not really a feeling. I'm just, anything. I guess the feeling is I would like to see the company succeed in the future. And, Michael Ramone has been with us from day one, and I put him in charge for a reason. He keeps saying this is a benefit show, but we've never said why. Here lately, I've not been too attentive on my business. And, my wife got diagnosed with breast cancer.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Right now I'm trying to focus on family because I've been focusing on my shoot job and wrestling for so many years. It's kind of time to focus on some personal stuff.
Right.
And the feeling I get, when I'm able to pass on any type of knowledge that I've picked up, whether it be good or bad, it's still from experience. I feel like I'm helping the next generation do this a little smarter and not mess up like I did. That's the whole intent.
And that is great. It puts me in the mind of, and I say it all the time, leave the business better than you found it. I mean, that is the purpose, because we want this business to continue way after we're dead and gone. So we just love wrestling like that.
Yes, and we do put so much into it. Like you said, the fans don't really understand how much, especially a promotion on our level, how much we have to put into this, and how much actually kind of gets taken away from our family sometimes just to make this stuff work. Our time, our money that we could be putting into our household. You got people coming online wanting to poke jabs or talk about, say some teeth missing, or, hey, I've ignored my health and myself this time, trying to keep a family, keep this going, keep that going, be best at my shoot job, be the best in the wrestling business, be the best at promoting I can be. Yeah, and plus, you get hit in the face with a few right hands from Chase Stevens, you do lose a few teeth. But you got people that just want to make jabs at these small promoters to make themselves feel bigger or look so professional. Like that one negative comment's going to make somebody from WWE call them straight up like, hey, bro, I loved your negative comment. You sure put him in his place. Come and work for me.
Exactly. the how do you feel wrestling is today versus when you got in the business? Do you think it's better, worse, or about the same?
You know, that's a rough question because everybody's eyes view it different. Like you got the young generation, you got young eyes that view it different. Like when I was coming up, the '80s guys, you know, I thought the '80s guys was better than the '70s guys. The people that watched the wrestling in the '70s thought their guys was better than the guys I was cheering for.
Right.
So there's always this clash, like in generations, on you know what you think is better. Is it better then or now? And I don't believe anybody can really answer that question with bias, you know, because I'm an old school guy. I prefer the old school work. I believe that you should work a match like the old school guys. I'm going to use this for an example. You do a match in the old school, you work on that body part, you hit up your setup for your finisher, and it works on that specific body area. And when you put your finisher on them, they're done. Nowadays, you got guys doing 50 finishers and they're popping up. You know, that's one problem I got with the new age wrestling. There ain't no story behind it. It's just like spot, 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 boom. It ain't no hold. Like you're working that muscle, you're working that arm. And, you know, there's good wrestling out there. I just feel like the story of the movement needs to come back because it's just DDT, DDT, flip off the rope, kick, kick, pose. What, you know, why are you doing your finisher? What body part are you working on to make that finisher effective when you hit it to keep that guy from popping up? That's the story that needs to be told nowadays. I think that's a missing element. And that's just my view on New Age wrestling.
And I have to agree with you. I think a lot of times they're more concerned of getting that damn spot in versus telling the story of how I was, as they call Triple H, very technical and cerebral. That's the word.
Cerebral assassin.
Yes. And you just had to work it. You worked it. It was a reason why you worked it. And people, you knew it, you could see it. And like you said, it built. And then bam, then the finisher. And your finisher was protected. Everybody didn't kick out of your finisher. Everybody, you knew when they did this, it was the end. And when and then if someone did kick out of it, it was amazing. That made it like, oh my God, nobody has done this before. It made it special. And like you said, I think they go too hard on spot wrestling instead of setup wrestling. That, and again, like you, I'm an old school wrestling fan, and that's not saying that these wrestlers don't do good either. They do some tremendous work. It's just a different frame, a different thought process behind it that some people like, some don't. But it doesn't take away from them as wrestlers. What would be your advice for someone who wanted to start a promotion? What would you tell them?
Well, you best have a bankroll. Be ready to spend some money. Never, ever, never, ever, ever, ever in the history of ever book a show if you do not have the guaranteed money to pay your building and pay your workers. Don't hope for the gate to pay your workers or building fee. And protect your venue. Number one rule.
I love hearing that. I talked to Bull Buchanan a few weeks ago and asked him the same thing. And he told me, don't do it.
That was going to be my answer. I just elaborated a little bit. When I paused, that was my thought. Don't do it.
and, and what I love, because I've had a bunch of different promoters say that, I understand why they say it, because it's more of a thankless job that you do, because one, you have to love it to do it. Two, you got to be a little crazy. and,
Definitely.
and three, you want to make sure you are trying to put out a product that you truly believe in, and you want it to succeed, even though you have to be patient with doing it, because you're not going to come in and just change the business. It takes time, it takes dedication, and a real work ethic, because you can have a great team around you, but still you are the headliner. If the show fails, it's because of you. If the show succeeds, everybody else is getting credit. And that's just the type of thing that the booker and owners go through. If
you're in it for the glory yourself, I mean, you got to push your boys. You can't be in it as a promoter wanting everything. Hey, pats on the back.
Yes. If you could get anyone to work your promotion, dead or alive, who would it be and why?
Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. One of the best I've ever seen. Like when we was talking about, hey, somebody works them hoes. When he got a headlock on, he worked that headlock. He just didn't stand there and smile. He was a great technical worker. I'd have to say, my man, like one of my favorite wrestlers, the one, Ric Flair. Like, he is my favorite. Dusty Rhodes, Ronnie Piper, Gorgeous George. I would love to have that guy come through and work. He was one of the first original heels, and I went back and I studied whatever film I could find on the man, and I've always loved Gorgeous George's work.
Yes, a lot of people, if they don't know their history, think Ric Flair was the original Nature Boy, and he was not.
No, he was not. There was many.
Gorgeous George does not get enough credit in the wrestling business. I think if a lot more people would go back and study their history, they would find so many different wrestlers that actually transformed the business that don't get enough credit for what they did. It would be something amazing.
Yeah, like a lot of history's lost.
Yes, unfortunately. So I'd like to thank you for coming on. I always have a good time when I talk with you. As you know, you have an open invitation. Anytime you want to come on, promote shows or whatever, you're more than welcome to do that.
And like always, I appreciate your time of having me on, because time is valuable. We don't get time back. So when a man gives you his time, people should appreciate it. And that's something lost too in society.
Yes, it is. But again, thank you. Do you want to shout out anybody before we go?
Yeah, I'll shout out to a few people. Showtime Sean Crisper, Cool Kirkpatrick, Jimmy Lamb, Mama G, and my wife, Miranda Edwards. Guys, family, I'll see you later. Till next time at the campfire. I stole your line.
That's all right. Hey, as long as it's being used, I'm okay with it. Guys, girls, thank you for joining us around the campfire. As Simply Rick just said, again, another amazing conversation. And I hope this gives you more insight to what promoters go through to entertain us. And it's a selfless job, but I know they would appreciate you. You get a chance to talk to them and let them know how much you appreciate everything they're doing for us. Again, it is a thankless job, and they need that love and respect. They will appreciate it. Guys, girls, as I always say before I get off the air, please, please, please go and support your local indie wrestling. I can't say it enough. You never know who you're going to see doing what, and you may get a chance to see an up and comer, and then later on in life, they could be in the major promotions as their top star. You just never know. So please, please go and support your local indie wrestling. With that being said, I'm Professor Bear. This has been a Bear's Thought, and we will see you around the campfire again very, very soon. Y'all take care.